But what feels like isolation is actually consecration. God is hiding you to build you, cleansing you, to equip you, restricting you, to release you at the appointed time. This is your divine distinction. If you embrace it, if you submit to it, you will walk in a power that the world cannot counterfeit. You are being trained to feed differently, to live differently, to carry differently. And that distinction will not just protect you, it will position you for impact. For nations do not shift by those who blend in, but by those who burn bright, uncompromised, unshakable. And you, yes you, were chosen to be one of them. Chosen one, if you are still here, then know this: you are not drawn into this word by accident, nor did you endure to this moment without reason. Heaven has been reaching for you, tugging at the fabric of your soul, whispering reminders that you were never created to live as common, never designed to settle for casual, never intended to waste away in distraction and compromise. You were designed to carry something rare, something radiant, something that requires space within you that lesser things cannot occupy. This is why you feel tension where others feel nothing, why you sense conviction when others laugh, why what satisfies their flesh unsettles your spirit. God has been reprogramming your appetite, not because He delights in depriving you, but because He longs to deliver you into a destiny so vast and weighty that your current cravings cannot coexist with it. When the Spirit begins to awaken you, He does not merely give you new commands, He gives you a new compass. The very things that once thrilled you begin to feel like burdens. The very voices you once adored begin to sound hollow. The very habits that once calmed you begin to leave you restless. It is not that you have lost yourself, it is that you are finding your true self, the one buried beneath layers of distraction, the one marked for eternity. And here lies the sobering truth. Every compromise carries a cost, far heavier than it appears. Each careless indulgence, each just one more scroll, each whispered excuse that permits what you know you should resist, is not isolated. They accumulate like weights tied to the ankles of your spirit, slowing you down, draining your fire, and dulling your discernment. You feel it in your prayers when the words feel empty. You feel it in your focus when clarity eludes you. You feel it in your passion when what once blazed now flickers faintly. The enemy rarely robs you in a single moment of chaos. He disarms you gradually, using small surrenders, one boundary ignored at a time, until suddenly you rise to fight and discover that your strength is gone. Remember Samson? His downfall was not a single night in Delilah's lap, but the countless small decisions to ignore the consecration God had placed on his life. He had been set apart as a Nazirite, marked by boundaries designed not to punish, but to protect. And yet, compromise after compromise eroded the wall until nothing remained. So it is with you. What feels harmless in the moment can hollow out your spirit until you awaken one day wondering why you feel numb to the very presence that once electrified you. But chosen one, take heart, for the same Spirit that convicts is the Spirit that restores. The moment you turn, the moment you awaken to the cost, the moment you refuse to pay the price of compromise any longer, that is the moment chains break, appetites shift, and authority returns. This is the hour where God is drawing a line in the sand. He is not whispering vague suggestions. He is issuing divine summons. He is calling His remnant into radical alignment because the days ahead demand clarity, not compromise. The world is feasting at tables of distraction, consuming rebellion packaged as entertainment, inhaling ideologies wrapped in humor, swallowing bitterness disguised as empowerment. But you cannot sit at those tables and expect to carry heaven's authority. You are being summoned to step away, to purify, to consecrate. And yes, it will cost you friends who cannot understand why you no longer laugh at what they laugh at, why you no longer indulge in what they indulge in, why you no longer linger in places that once felt normal. You will feel the sting of misunderstanding, the ache of isolation, the whispers of those who label you extreme. But remember this: Noah looked foolish until the flood came. The prophets looked strange until their words came to pass. The disciples looked radical until the Spirit fell like fire. And so it shall be with you. Better to look foolish for a season than to lose your destiny for eternity. Better to be mocked for restraint than to be emptied by compromise. But do not mistake this call for mere denial or deprivation. This is not about living a life of constant resistance without reward. No, this is about living in divine rhythm, in holy alignment, in unbroken fellowship with the Spirit of God. You think you are simply consuming, but in truth, the spirit realm is consuming you. And so I ask you, when was the last time you prayed over what you ate? When was the last time you sought discernment before clicking play, before scrolling through hours of content, before filling your soul with words and images? If you are not consecrating what enters you, you may already be contaminated. This is not fear, it is awakening. Because when the chosen consume carelessly, they fall strategically. And some of you, hearing this now, know this word is for you. That hunger, that craving, that addiction that never satisfies may not be natural hunger at all. It may be spiritual warfare disguised as appetite. But here is your hope. Once you recognize the trap, you break its hold. Awareness is authority. The very moment you discern the scheme, you disarm its power. Understand this: you were never called to fit in at the world's table. You were called to eat from heaven's table. Your diet is not about survival, it is about precision. Think of elite athletes before a battle in the arena. They do not indulge in greasy meals or careless snacks. Their discipline is their preparation for victory. And so it is with you. You cannot afford to consume what weakens your clarity. Your destiny requires sharpness, not dullness, discernment, not distraction, fire, not fog. Heaven is not raising common wanderers, but consecrated warriors. That is why your cravings are interrupted, why conviction pierces you when others feel nothing, why certain things make you spiritually sick though the crowd indulges with joy. Because your spirit rejects what your destiny cannot carry. While others scroll endlessly, binge mindlessly, feast without thought, you are being trained to consecrate, to fast, to consume with intention. This is not legalism. It is alignment. You are not walking according to a list of rigid rules, but according to a divine rhythm where heaven dictates your appetite. And yes, the cost will be heavy. You will feel alone, misunderstood, mocked even. But remember, Noah built while they laughed, until the sky broke open and the rains came. Let them laugh. Let them scoff. You are not feeding for entertainment. You are feeding for eternity. So pause and let the weight of this truth sink deep. Every compromise carries a cost. Every indulgence either sharpens or dulls your spirit. And though others may dance in the grey, for the chosen there is no neutral ground. You cannot carry a divine calling with a casual appetite. You cannot walk in kingdom power while dining at tables of disobedience. God is not punishing you by restricting your intake. He is preserving you for what is holy. Because compromise does not just delay destiny, it can derail it. Remember Samson. His downfall did not arrive in one dramatic moment. It was a series of small compromises, boundary after boundary ignored, until one day he stood up and his strength was gone. And some of you know that feeling. You have stood up and wondered where your strength went, why your fire feels dim, why your prayers feel muted. It is not because you are broken. It is because you have been feeding your flesh while starving your spirit. But the good news is this: the moment you recognize the pattern, you can return, you can realign, you can consecrate yourself again. There is still time to purify, to reclaim, to restore what nearly slipped away. And so this is your wake-up call, your spiritual alarm ringing through the noise of distraction. This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is the Spirit of God drawing a line in the sand and inviting you to step over. You feel it, don't you? That discomfort with things that once felt normal. That sense that heaven is rearranging your appetite. That deep stirring that you were made for something higher. It is refinement, not punishment. It is preparation, not deprivation. Because a remnant is rising and you are part of it. God does not ask this of everyone, but He is asking it of you. Why? Because your assignment is weighty. Your calling is not ordinary. You were chosen to carry something holy, and holiness always requires a cost. When the Spirit begins to detox your life, He does not merely cleanse your plate, He transforms your taste. The things that once thrilled your flesh begin to feel heavy, draining, wrong. Songs that once felt harmless suddenly grieve your spirit. Conversations that once entertained now leave you empty. Habits that once comforted now feel toxic. That is not coincidence. That is the Spirit preparing you, pruning you, purifying you so that you can carry the weight of glory without collapse. He is removing toxins, silencing the noise, sharpening your discernment, because blurred vision leads to broken destinies. Yes, it will feel lonely. You will look around and realize you are fasting when others feast. You are staying in when others go out. You are saying no when everyone else is saying yes. Chosen ones, lean in and listen. For this word is not for the masses, not for the casual wanderers, not for the lukewarm souls content with drifting. This is for those who carry that quiet knowing, that subtle yet undeniable mark etched deep within your being since before your first breath. You are not like the rest. You were separated from the beginning, chosen for something that carries eternal weight. And because of that distinction, the way you walk, the way you live, the way you feed your mind, body, and spirit cannot mirror the ways of those around you. For others, consumption is casual, careless, even thoughtless. But for you, it is covenant. What you allow to enter does not merely pass through. It roots itself within you, shaping your thoughts, directing your desires, and influencing your destiny. The chosen are not afforded the comfort of indifference, because what touches you transforms you. What enters your gates can either construct your calling or corrupt it entirely. And this, beloved, is precisely why the enemy wages war on your appetite. He does not come only with fangs and fire. No, he arrives with flavor. He does not always strike with visible violence. More often, he seduces with satisfaction. He cloaks poison in pleasure, disguises destruction as delight, and wraps bondage in ribbons of beauty. While the masses consume with no discernment, you must awaken to the truth that every bite, every word, every image, every song is an offering. And offerings always alter atmospheres. This is why your spirit feels resistance when others feel release, why you sense pressure before you consume what the world calls harmless. That inner pull, that pause, that unease in your soul, it is not mere anxiety. It is divine discernment, whispering that nothing you consume is neutral. Nothing is just entertainment. Nothing is just food. Nothing is just a song. For you, chosen one, everything you consume is either sharpening your sword or dulling it. Everything is either fueling your fire or extinguishing it. Daniel did not refuse the king's food simply to make a statement. He refused because he understood that what nourishes the world can contaminate the consecrated. That awareness must live within you too, for the wrong meal, the wrong sound, the wrong influence can shift your spirit in ways unseen but profoundly real. Think about the songs that linger in your mind for days, the images that replay in your thoughts, the videos that seem innocent but subtly plant seeds. It only takes one seed to shift an entire harvest. And the truth is this: the spiritual realm is never silent, never still. It is always feeding you, always sowing into you. The question is not whether you are being fed. The question is, who is the chef? Who prepared that plate? Who inspired that content? Who whispered those lyrics into existence? Who stands behind the entertainment that feels so irresistible? You've noticed it, haven't you? The heaviness that lingers after certain shows, the confusion after indulging in certain conversations, the fogginess in your spirit that follows after you've filled yourself with the world's offerings. That isn't coincidence. That is contamination. What you allow in will either align you with heaven or disconnect you from it. And the chosen cannot afford casual consumption. This is not about paranoia. It is about precision. You are not called to blend in with the crowd. You are called to represent the kingdom. And kingdom vessels must remain pure if they are to carry power. Now stay close, because what I am about to unveil will expose the deeper strategy of the enemy. It is not just what you consume. It is who is using it against you. From the beginning, Satan has served meals, and just like in Eden, he does not force feed. He entices. He decorates the forbidden so that it looks pleasing, so that it feels right, so that it tastes harmless. And yet every bite is a curse against your calling. He is not always waging war with weapons of terror. He is luring you with the subtlety of taste. His mastery lies in making temptation feel like nourishment, in making destruction appear delightful. That is why you feel drawn to certain habits, certain shows, certain people, even when you know deep down they are draining your spirit. Because the trap is rarely pain. More often, the trap is pleasure. And the enemy knows he cannot steal your calling outright. So he schemes to weaken you, to distract you, to delay you until the divine timing passes. He will place spiritual junk food in your path, hoping that every careless bite postpones your assignment until you are out of position for your destiny. Here is the chilling reality. Many chosen ones are unknowingly consuming cursed food. Products birthed in rebellion, music infused with frequencies of pride and lust, entertainment wrapped in darkness but sold as innocent. They are sacrificing their purity on altars disguised as trending, organic, or popular. When you begin to consume with discernment, you discover that your appetite changes, your desires shift, your hunger deepens for what truly satisfies. Prayer stops feeling like a duty and begins to feel like a feast. Worship ceases to be an obligation and becomes oxygen to your soul. The Word of God, once ignored, begins to leap off the page, speaking directly into your spirit as though it were alive. And it is. This is the hidden secret. The Spirit does not strip you of lesser things to leave you empty. He removes them so He can feed you with something greater, something eternal, something weighty enough to sustain the fire of your calling. While the world consumes endlessly and remains empty, you will consume intentionally and overflow with life. For man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. And when your appetite is retrained, when your hunger is redirected, when your consumption is consecrated, you will discover a power within you that casual indulgence could never provide. So, now I ask you, chosen one, what tables have you been eating from that God never invited you to? What foods, what shows, what habits, what conversations have been silently draining the oil from your lamp? Because make no mistake, lamps run dry not in dramatic explosions, but in quiet leaks. A little compromise here, a small indulgence there, and suddenly the flame flickers low. But the bridegroom is coming, and he is not returning for a distracted bride. He is coming for a people burning bright, lamps full, hearts awake. And you, if you will embrace the cost, can be among them. But you must choose. You must cut off what contaminates. You must guard what you consume. You must be ruthless with anything that dulls your fire. For this is not a season to play with appetite. It is a season to purify appetite. And as you do, heaven will entrust you with weight, with responsibility, with assignments that casual believers will never carry. Because to be set apart is not to be punished, it is to be prepared. This preparation, however, will not always feel glorious. At times, it will feel like silence. At times, it will feel like God has hidden you, tucked you away while others flourish, restricted you while others feast. But know this, what feels like delay is actually design. God hides his treasures until the appointed time. He purifies his vessels before he fills them with power. He consecrates his warriors before he releases them into battle. And though the world may not see your preparation, heaven sees. Though others may not understand your abstinence, heaven applauds. Every no you whisper to compromise is a yes to destiny. Every rejection of distraction is an embrace of purpose. Every tear you cry in loneliness is watering the soil of future impact. You are not wasting. You are not losing. You are being formed. And when the time comes, when heaven's assignment collides with earth's need, you will emerge refined, sharp, unshakable, filled with power that no counterfeit can imitate. So let this be sealed in your spirit. You are not like them. You never were. You were chosen to be set apart, not to blend in, not to be liked, not to be entertained, but to carry fire, to walk in purity, to stand unshakable in a generation drowning in compromise. This is your activation. This is your awakening. The world may laugh, but eternity will recognize the remnant who refuse to feast at forbidden tables. And when you choose this path, when you embrace this consecration, you will not only guard your own destiny, you will ignite others. Your very life will become a sermon, your very appetite a declaration, your very purity a weapon against darkness. So rise now, chosen one, rise and cut off what contaminates, rise and walk in the clarity you were destined for. Rise and let your appetite testify that you belong not to the world, but to the kingdom. For the narrow path is never crowded, but it is powerful enough to shift nations. You were not called to eat for entertainment, you were called to feed for eternity. So go now, activated, awakened, and set apart. Live like the marked, walk like the chosen, and never look back.